You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to It's More Than Just Paper. What are we talking about today, Toss?
So today we're going to be talking about staying connected in marriage. I asked everyone to vote based on various topics that Jonathan and I chatted through. So we came up with 4 topics. They were staying connected in marriage. What was the other ones? Basically asked everybody to vote on the topics based on what you wanted to hear, and this one was the highest voted topic. I have a bit of a sore throat, you all, so Jonathan's gonna do a lot of the talking tonight. And I'll chime in here and there with a few points that are on my mind, but he's gonna do most of the talking because honestly, like, my throat hurts so bad.
Okay, so we'll get right into it. Some of the things that we're going to say are probably no-brainers, but this stuff is no-brainer, right? But it requires a lot of work to be done, I think, and a lot of sacrifice. And you also have to be willing to compromise, I think, at every point in your relationship, at every point. Especially
At every point.
Especially if you want to become one with your spouse or your partner or whatever the terminology is that you use. So we'll get right into it. The first point that we have today.
Oh, yeah. So, one thing that's kind of stood out to me in our relationship is, like, how important it is to really speak and understand your partner's love language. You know, with us at least, I feel like not even just love language, but, like, their language period. So, like, with us, like, John usually is a little bit more patient than I feel I am. I have to learn to be more patient as well in how I communicate with him because I'm like, I have this on my mind. We need to communicate it right now. I've learned to be more patient, like, just to wait, figuring out when is a good time. Like, usually there's, like, this sweet spot in, like, late morning between, like, I've gotten it down to a science, but, like, between 9:30 and, like, 11, we usually get up early, so, like, between 9:30 and 11 is, like, the sweet spot to talk to him about things. And then midday, but midday gets busy at work. So, like, you just have to really understand your partner's, like, language, how they speak, how they show up. Do you want to chime in on what I'm saying at all before we move on to the next point? And by the way, make sure you guys stay until the very end because at the end we have a surprise for you.
Yes, and if you like this content and you like what we're doing, please make sure that you subscribe, hit the bell, especially leave us comments. We like to engage. I think we can find some more meaningful things to talk about if you engage with us. Again, going back to compromising. If I think that everything that she says has no value and everything that I says has value, there's an error there. So maybe there's value in both
perspectives.
Yeah.
It takes time to get to this point. And we've had to grow and learn a lot from each other and be patient with each other. And it doesn't happen overnight. Also, I've found in our relationship that we both, and in all relationships, you both come from 2 different upbringings. Hopefully, right? Like, we don't, we would hope that you're not brother and sister. But, but you both come from 2 different upbringings, even if they're very similar. Even if you live in the same community, even if you're the exact same race and look exactly the same, you still come from 2 different upbringings. And so we've had to realize, like, part of marriage and marrying is marrying your ideas and my ideas to then bring them together in the middle and we create our ideas. And I feel like that's something we've had to learn too. Like, it's not about how you were raised, it's not about how I was raised. Let's take the best of our childhoods and bring it together and create that for our kids. And we're not doing it perfect, but, like, let's take the best of what we saw and what we didn't see.
Be stubborn about being successful in your relationship.
I love that.
Yeah, don't be stubborn about the dumb things that you think are accurate.
I get my tea.
Yeah, go get your tea.
Go get your tea, girl!
Tea.
I'm gonna get my tea.
Go get your teas.
Oh my gosh. I need a lozenge.
I get to watch her walk away, and then she going to walk back. She going to walk back to me. Yes. Yes. The second item, it's kind of not necessarily contradictory, but kind of an oxymoron. I think it's important in a relationship to be comfortable being physically apart from one another. Most structures are sound when the columns are not connected. They're separate from one another. They can hold heavy weight up.
Like in music.
Architecture,
Oh.
buildings, yeah. Like if you look at old Roman structures and
thought you were
things
talking
like
about
that, yeah, all the
music.
pillars and columns are
Mhm.
there's width between them.
Mm-hmm. Good. I just didn't know you were talking about architecture, not music.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
You never want to be separate emotionally, but being comfortable physically. A lot of these lessons learned for us, like we haven't like, we don't sit around a fire and talk about it. I mean, we get in each other's face sometimes. It gets ugly and it gets sad, and and it's not always pretty. But I think that's indicative of a lot of relationships. She's got her own life. She's her own person. You want to be supportive of that, and then come back and meet up at some point. But always keep the emotional component strong. You always want to be connected emotionally, and I don't think that you need to be close to one another to be close emotionally. So physical closeness, if you can exist in that space where you're not necessarily up on each other all the time, I think, and allow that emotional stuff to grow, then no matter where you're at in the world, you're going to be your person's person. Whenever I'm away from my wife, it's about getting back to her because we're close like that emotionally. Like there's nothing else out there that I'm seeking because I know what I got.
You know what he got?
I hope that made sense.
That makes sense. I think too, like to what you're saying, it's such a good point because it's so important I really enunciated important. It's really important though, like whether you're together or apart, to have that emotional intact.
It's not the same as when we first got together.
Yeah.
It's more than it was when we first got together, but when we first got together, how I think everyone knows how that goes. But over time, we had to put in work. We had to put coal into the engine to keep the thing moving.
Keep the fire alive.
Exactly.
You also mentioned something too, like around like allowing time for personal things, like.
And this was, I think, another point of contention in the earlier part of our marriages. I would just take free time for myself. I never really considered it free time. I just thought I was just living and doing what I normally do, whether that's, whatever your hobbies are, you insert them. You like to go exercise, go for a walk, whatever. And a lot of times I would left her doing the work and, the responsibilities around the house, which I do my own fair share of that. But maybe didn't communicate, and she just allowed me to do that. And over a period of time, I think it built some kind of resentments, and it got into my head, and it made sense to me that, yeah, that's selfish. There's a certain quality to that is selfish. However, I still stand firm in that it's okay to be selfish sometimes, because if you're putting in the work for yourself and you're growing yourself in such a way that's positive, that you can engulf the ones that you love because you're doing the work on yourself so that you are a better person, then I think it's okay to have those kind of times. And I promote those times for her as well, to have, just because that's the kind of people that we are. I mean, my free time is not going out and hanging out with the guys and getting a drink and doing stuff like that. My free times are kind of nerdy and dorky, reading books, studying, exercising, self-improvement type of things. But again, I have a lot of people that are depending on me, and so I have to delegate my time wisely. And if she's not having time for herself and I'm having time for myself, it's unbalanced. So compromising at every moment is it reminds me of like a teeter-totter. It's kind of a balance that has to be. Balance isn't just something that is. It's a balance is something you have to work at so that it remains in balance. And so she should have the same things that I have. I should have the same things that she has. And for me, I've always been telling her, like, take some time for yourself. Please do. Because when we come back to meet with one another, I think we're refreshed that way.
We're we're definitely better for it. I feel like the day-to-day should allow for time. So for him to have his downtime, for me to have mine. And then also, there are going to be days where I might not get my downtime and he gets his. But then the next day, I get mine. Like yesterday, I was at the hair salon for 8 hours. And he was on with all 3 boys. And he did a great job, by the way. I came in, the house looked perfect. Everything was in Taylor shape. I was so happy. I came in, I was like, oh my God, it looks like I never left.
So bring us home. Bring us home.
Yeah, so a few other like little thoughts to think about as you're trying to like stay connected in marriage is like believing the best about your partner. You know, a lot of times it's easy. Oh my gosh, it's so, especially for me, because I'm a thinker. I mean, John's a thinker too. We both think, duh. But like, I overthink and overanalyze. He does too, actually. But the point is, I'm going to talk for myself. I overthink, I overanalyze a lot. And so, before you know it, I have reconciled within myself that, like, you know, I've reconciled the worst within myself. If I go down a rabbit hole, I will have, you know, painted the worst picture of what I think is happening. And then now I'm talking to him from a space of like negativity and I'm not believing the best. So, like, say for instance, I go for a walk by myself and I say, you stay with the kids, but I need you to do the laundry while I'm gone because I have a big meeting tomorrow. I need to be wearing this purple shirt. And I get in and I see John's like doing a freaking dance party with the boys in the kitchen. And I'm like, of course he didn't do the laundry. Of course he's been doing a dance party. And I'm seeing the whole time I was on my walk, there's pictures he's posted of him doing dance parties. There's pictures of him making pancakes with the boys. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I come in, guns blazing, because I'm like, I saw you were posting these pictures on Instagram and videos and you're having a good time with the boys. And I come in and you're having a dance party. There's no way he did the laundry that I needed. I'm not believing the best. And then I come in and I'm like, why didn't you do the laundry? Don't you remember? Weren't you listening? See, you never listened to me. Blah, 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 you know, going down the rabbit hole. And he's like, babe, as soon as you walked out the door, I put the laundry on. Because I didn't believe the best. And I feel like there were so many times, like, early on in our relationship, you would tell me, like, just wait and see. Just wait and see. Just, like, be patient. Wait and see. And one thing that I've learned in this relationship is, like, the importance of waiting and seeing, you know, and part of waiting and seeing goes hand in hand with believing the best. If you wait and see, and you, in the process while you're waiting, you're believing the best about your person, it does pay off if you're with the right person. Like, I've found that, like, the wait and see method, it's helped me not just in marriage, but even with our kids. Wait and see, and while you're waiting, believe the best about your person. Look at your partner through the lens of, like innocence. And it will help you treat them the way you need to. And be there for them. And lead with empathy. Am I, like murdering this?
With a pencil.
With a pencil. Stop. Please. Stop it, please.
We haven't done any kung fu for them in a while, have we?
No, stop.
Yeah, but if you got nothing, you can't lead with anything. So being empathetic and being sympathetic and a lot of the stuff that we were saying, like, you have to really be willing to do the work with your partner, and that looks different for everyone else. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think these are all good things to do, but it takes 2 people to do it, and if only one person is doing it, none of this stuff is going to work. None of it. So you both have to you both have to fail so that your relationship can win. You should compromise at every moment. Be stubborn for your relationship. Make sure that you continue to stay emotional with one another and vibe on that level, and not everything is going to be physical. Especially if you're in a relationship where you have multiple things going on at all the time and you really can't be around physically. So think, meditate on some of these things. Meditate on this 30-minute video, 50-minute video.
We're going to cut it down.
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 Cut it down. Cut it down.
Cut it down.
Cut it down.
Cut it down.
Boom. Cut it down. Ooh, ooh.
Little teeny ass chain.
Oh. Did you say teeny ashtrays? Is that what you said?
Yes.
Little teeny.
Got my
Little
little teeny tiny.
Cut it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyhow,
Thank you for tuning in.
go home.
Shut up. You know.
That's what our 2-year-old says all the time to us. Shut up. You shut up. God.
Oh my god. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And we have a surprise. I don't know what the surprise. Now that you've made it here, we told you we had a surprise.
We don't have a
We don't have one.
I guess. Okay. Should we tell?
Yeah. In all of our videos, just
It's cold and flu.
surprise. We've had COVID for 3 years.
I know you were probably wondering where all the energy is. We saved it for the end of this video. So
Yeah.
that's the
Did you
surprise.
make it? Did you
Did you
make it
enjoy
this
it?
far?
Did you enjoy it? Honestly, though, as far as the surprise is concerned, we didn't really have one. So let's just make one up. Stay tuned this week on my IG stories. I'm going to share a link or something so that you can get Starbucks. I'll do
And
a virtual-
the 25th person to comment will get a signed copy of our next book coming out.
Oh my god!
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Wouldn't want to be ya.
God, I'm crying.
Well, yeah.
Okay. Should we say something else?
Like what?
I don't know.
Like what?
Behind the scenes. You ready, babes?
I think so.
Tired?
I look good. I'm not tired.
You know, like it's cute high level, but like how do people stay connected in marriage, you know? Let me sit down. See where we're at. My blanket too, because it's cold as crap in here.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's been recording this whole time.
Can I get rid of this pillow?